Hello, welcome to Epiphany Lutheran Church in Richmond, Virginia. I'm Kevin Barger, the Director of Music Ministry. This is our Music Minute as we are looking at the hymns we'll be using in worship tomorrow. And we are just rocking our way through Lent here, so it will be over before we know it. We're going to go in order today. We'll start with our gathering hymn, Christ, the Life of All the Living. And this is a hymn about Christ suffering on our behalf. And that is why you'll see in the words, thousand thanks are due. Catherine Winkworth, we've talked about her many times before. She translated this hymn for us, and the tune is Anonymous. So this is a jazz version of this. You may have to work a little bit harder to hear, but that's the glory of these music minutes, is you get to hear these hymns in a way that maybe you've never heard them before. So this is Christ, the Life of All the Living. Right, our next hymn, our hymn of the day, is from All Creation Sings, our new hymnal supplement, which isn't so new anymore. And this song was commissioned by Humble Walk Lutheran Church in St. Paul, Minnesota. And that's where it gets its tune name, is Humble Walk. Justin Rimbaud was the artist in residence there, and he wrote this song, and it was steeped in imagery for Lent and Easter. And so it's looking at the breadth of human experience in the Christian life. The stanzas are rooted in, the first one is God's presence, the second is new birth, and the third is God's dwelling in our hearts. There's a refrain, and this refrain is based on images from the beginning, where we think of ashes, and the end, new life of Lent. When it seems the day will end. nice new tune for us to sing tomorrow. It'll be exciting. All right, our communion hymn, On Eagle's Wings. This was written by Michael Joncas, and he is a well-known liturgical and musical scholar, composer, and writer. This tune became very popular in the Roman Catholic Church first, and then also in many Protestant churches. It had some great controversy over the tune because it's some people say it's particularly difficult to sing. And what Joncas notes about that is that he never intended for this to be a congregational hymn. And had he known or anticipated that congregations were going to try to use it as such, he might have done it differently. So it's very interesting. It took on a life of its own, and it is what we know now as On Eagle's Wings. And for our sending hymn, My Faith Looks Up to Thee. This hymn is our oldest of the bunch. It was written in 1830, and its author had just graduated from Yale University, and he was teaching at the time at a private girls' school in New York City. So he wrote this poem, and he had no particular occasion in mind for when it might be used. The tune was written for the text as well. It fits very well for this Lenten season. My faith looks up to thee. that ends our hymns that we'll be using tomorrow. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. If you're coming in person tomorrow, we look forward to having you with us. That's at 8:30 and 11 o'clock in the sanctuary. 11 o'clock will be live streamed on our YouTube channel, and we look forward to seeing you, hopefully. And if not, we'll be back again together next week. Next week will be Palm Sunday, so we will have some special music coming your way for Palm Sunday and Holy Week. Thanks. Have a good evening.